Okay, guys, big warning. We are going to have spoilers in this review for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. You have been warned. Go out and see the movie, then come back. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ron HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm Ron HD, and this week we watched Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy. Hey guys. New horror film, like light horror film that came out this year. It is an adaptation of the Five Nights at Freddy's video game franchise, if you didn't know that, which I bet you did. But this film is, it's enjoyable. I thought it was quite enjoyable, and as a veteran fan of the games, I thought it was quite faithful, and I just was like, I enjoyed it a lot because there was a lot of references, like here and there. I'm gonna go on a tangent. Overall, I liked the film, I enjoyed it, and I'll tell you why I enjoyed the film and more back at the house.
Technically, they're animatronics.
What do they want?
They want to make her like them.
Abby! Tell me how to stop them.
It's too late.
Abby, go!
Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. This week we watched Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's, guys. Oh, Jesus Christ. But, yeah, this film, if you didn't know, welcome back to Ticket Tuesday, guys. Ronin Time HD. I don't know if I need to say it second time. But, yeah, if you couldn't tell by that and this, we watched Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie adaptation of the video game franchise that I'm certain you've heard of, at least once or twice. Created the whole mascot horror genre, this whole thing. But this video is not a history lesson on the video games. You can find those all over YouTube. This is a review of the movie. And if you didn't know this, I've actually, well, I used to be a fan of the games. I was actually a veteran. I was a fan since the first game. It's been a long time since then, about nearly 10 years. And, you know, so saying that, since I'm very familiar with the games, you know, what did I think of this film? Was it good? Was it a good adaptation? You know, was it faithful to the games? I would say it was. You know, I thought, as a former Five Nights at Freddy's fan, I genuinely thought the film was very enjoyable, and I thought it was very fun, and I did like the little subtle references to the game here and there, although there were some that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I'll get into that later. Although this film was not perfect, I did believe it was very fun and enjoyable, and I think that is kind of what I wanted out of the film at the end of the day. I didn't want a, like, masterpiece of, like, you know, of, like, this deep, in-depth story. I didn't want, I mean, honestly, a lot of blood would have been fun, you know, gore everywhere, the animatronics just butchering people, but I honestly think that the way the film was, I think was good enough for, like, a film adaptation. I thought it wasn't too safe to where it just felt watered down. I actually like how, you know, the animatronics were people in suits, and there was practical, and they were puppets. I really liked that. I think the whole film basically being all practical was great. I thought that was a really good part of the film. I also thought the subtle references, like in Easter eggs that were in the background. I noticed some Easter eggs here and there, but I bet there were some I definitely missed. And while there were some references that I wish were there, I think the references to the games and the references to the community were very nice. Like, if you didn't know, you know, Matt Pat is in this movie. If you don't know who that is, he's Game Theory. Also not going to explain who that is. Look it up. There's also there's other, you know, references. There's also another YouTuber who played Five Nights at Freddy's games, Corey X Kenshin. He's in the movie too, which is a nice reference. There's also some references to the games themselves. There is a circus baby animatronic in the back, which is pretty cool. There's also 2 Sparky the Dog references in the movie. Also not going to explain what that is, but there's 2 Sparky the Dog references. One, the diner that they go to, that the aunt goes to in the movie to, like, make a plan to, I'll explain the story. But the diner they go to is called Sparky's, which was the name of the hoax that came out, like the first hoax that the game had. It was really neat. So essentially, this film is kind of a love letter, I would say, to the fans and the franchise, I would say. Being, in my opinion, I think this might be the last thing Scott might do with the franchise. If there are other movies made, he'll probably do that, but I think this is just a good love letter. But, saying that, let's get into the film itself. Now, this film is about, you know, the two intertwining plots of Mike, the main character of the film, trying to find the killer of his brother when he was a kid, well, when Mike was a kid, and the plot of Abby's imaginary friends, who she's, like, talking to, drawing pictures of, and, like, she's talking to them, but it seems like they're just, like, not real, like, they're fake, but in reality, they're actually the ghosts of the kids that were in the animatronic suits, that were murdered by the guy who killed Mike's brother. So, you know, the two plots intertwine. And the whole film just kind of, it does this whole plot line while, you know, people get killed in the film, obviously. Not a lot. The film isn't really about the kills, it's more about the story. It's very plot heavy. But the animatronics are portrayed very sympathetically, because, you know, they are murdered children, so it's understandable why they are portrayed quite sympathetically. But I also believe that the film kind of feels like a starting point, because, you know, the killer of, you know, of Mike's brother and the killer of the ghosts that inhabit the animatronics, he is actually William Afton, who, if you don't know, is the main antagonist of the franchise in the games. And he's played by Matthew Lillard. And I think this is a starting point because, one, in the games, Afton is, like, already dead in the spring Bonnie suit, right? But in here, he dies at the very end in the Springlock suit. So if this film makes money, which I hope it does, by the next film, he'll already be Springtrap, which I do want to see that. And overall, I do think that, as I said, a good starting point, because I think the plot is basic enough to the point where you can easily add on to it, right? You know, with Vanessa being the daughter of Afton instead of Mike being Mike being the son of Afton, which I think is pretty good that they changed, because I'm glad they didn't keep everything the same, right? Because if they kept everything the same, then what's the point, right? You gotta change some things to make it interesting. Although I did not, it's not that I hated Vanessa as a character, I just hated her because she was an adaptation of a character from the worst game in the franchise. I don't know, maybe that's a little petty, but that's just me. But yeah, although a couple nitpicks here and there, I did think that the film was very strong and very enjoyable. Some nitpicks were like the Foxy's, like, Pirate Cove didn't have the out of order sign, and obviously the Vanessa thing. But overall, aside from a few, like, basically just dumb little nitpicks I have that I'm like, oh, I want it to be there, I want it to be there. You know, like how Golden Freddy, like, when he appeared in the movie, I'm like, oh, that's just Freddy, why is he fucked up? And then, like, after the movie, somebody I went to the movie with was like, oh, that's Golden Freddy. I'm like, that was Golden Freddy? Didn't look like Golden Freddy at all. I mean, now that I think about it, he was yellower, but to me, he just looked like a fucked up Freddy. I think he should have been yellower. Like, he wasn't yellow enough. He wasn't distinct enough, I think, from the original Freddy, to the point where he looked, I don't know, that was a bit of a nitpick. But overall, I thought the film was very enjoyable, and as, like, you know, a former Five Nights at Freddy's fan, or, like, a veteran Five Nights at Freddy's fan, I would recommend it to, you know, current Five Nights at Freddy's fans, former fans. You know, even if you're not a fan, I do truly think that you would get some enjoyment out of this film. I think it'd be better with friends, but I think there is stuff to enjoy about the film. You know, it's fun, it's enjoyable, there are some, like, funny moments here and there. You know, the cupcake just, like, fucking mauling a dude's head, and, like, the guy just going, and he has, like, the cupcake, like, chewing his face off. It's really funny. But, and the cupcake, like, flying like Superman, it's great. I think the idea of a killer animatronic cupcake is just funny. But, yeah, overall, I think the film is very enjoyable. And now, with that, I would rate the film a 7.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. And, yeah, I think I've something to say. I think I've said my piece. So, guys, hope you like this video. Share with friends, subscribe, turn notifications on. Comment down below if you liked it. But, You guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say was if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, discontinue them, change me in the comments. And I've been Runtime HD. Jump scaring off. I don't know. There's something in there. I don't. Signing off. It's a bad time in life. It was a bad time in my life. Fine. I'm not even winded. You guys thought. You fucking thought. I always come back.